Hello, I'm Pooja Chaturvedi and you're listening to the Lounge Podcast. At 45 degrees, Delhi is turning into a furnace. But did you know that some 100 to 200 years ago, Delhi was a much cooler place thanks to its natural air conditioners? These natural air conditioners are the Baolis of Delhi. Baoli refers to a man-made water tank which was principally used to store water. But it wasn't just about conservation. People would bathe, wash their clothes, or just generally hang around in this water body of sculptured columns and lattice walls. Delhi by Foot has organized on 28th May a heritage walk to 4 of the 15 Baolis left in Delhi now. The walk will explore various aspects of these water monuments, their architectural aesthetics, how they were used to conserve water, and of course, what makes them such giant air conditioners. Right now, I have with me the organizers of this walk, Ramit Mitra and Asif Khan, to give us some insights.
Sure.
Asif and Ramit, welcome to the Lounge Podcast.
Hi, Pooja.
Thank you, Pooja.
So, Ramit, how did this idea of heritage walk through these Baolis occur to you, and that too in this scorching heat?
Pooja, the thing is that we, as Delhi by Foot, have been doing these heritage walks, nature walks, etc., cultural food walks, etc., in Delhi for quite many years now. And some of our walks have such certain places wherein these Baolis are part of that walk, that particular walk. For example, if you are in Firoza Kotla Fort or the fort of Tughlaqabad or Mehrauli, there are Baolis which exist in that area. So when we're walking, people see them and then they're like more interested to know more about Baolis. They always have questions of where else in Delhi do you have Baolis, etc., etc. So what used to happen was that hearing those questions, we one day figured out that maybe we could just have a Baolis walk. We feel is that Baolis are the places where people used to, once upon a time, they used to kind of go there as a community space. They would go there, they would rest there. There would be water and it would be all very cool and, shady, and even in the scorching summer heat, they would find a lot of light from the sun there. So to kind of emulate the same thing or to kind of recreate the same situation that even in scorching sun, scorching heat of Delhi, a Baoli is the actual oasis of cool places in a community, in a village or in a town wherein people would gather, and why they used to kind of gather there. Because of the fact that they were the air conditioners of the past.
I'm sure these are the factors, and the principal factor is that Baolis are a great example of water conservation also. Would you tell us why have they lost their relevance and can they be revived?
If you look at the historical context, Gujarat, Rajasthan have a huge number of Baolis. I mean, they have more number of Baolis than you can think of within Delhi. Delhi used to have just about 100 odd Baolis when the first count was taken during the times of the British. Okay, so what has happened is that water is being used up very quickly. The groundwater has been used up very quickly by the increasing number of population or increasing number of people who are staying in a location. Now, Delhi NCR is anyways rocky. The Aravalis are there. It is anyways rocky. Water going down from the ground, coming up in form of a well, in form of a Baoli, natural aquifers, so to say, that is no longer happening. So it has become a little difficult for them to be revived today.
The history of these Baolis is quite fascinating. Agrasen ki Baoli, for instance, is believed to date back to the period of the Mahabharata. So,
Right.
Asif, do you think these walks also kindle our interest in history?
Yeah, right. Actually, you're talking about the Agrasen ki Baoli, like there's so many Baolis in Delhi. Okay, and first of all, we are trying to create awareness among the Delhiites about the Delhi and its heritage.
Ramit, tell us which are the Baolis that you're going to visit and why did you decide on those Baolis?
Basically, we begin with one of the oldest Baolis which exists in Delhi. So it is a Baoli which is definitely built in the 13th century by Sultan Iltutmish of the slave dynasty, the Mamluk dynasty. So this was the first time when the concept of Baoli, which they figured out was existing in the Gujarat and Rajasthan areas, they kind of used in Delhi as well. So this is that Baoli called Gandak Baoli. And this Baoli also is known for having water which had sulfur in it. It had high content of sulfur in it. It was more like a spa kind of thing. Then we are going to be going to another Baoli called Rajoki Baoli. Rajoki Baoli is again in Mehrauli, and it is a choice that me and Asif have done because of the reason that it's one of the most beautiful Baolis in Delhi. If you look at the architecture, it's not very narrow, it's not very wide. It's got 5 different layers. You can go there. There's a small mosque just behind it. So it's a very nicely built place. The third one is Agrasen ki Baoli. So Agrasen Baoli is something which is bang in the middle of CP. CP is like, there's a lot of hustle bustle, high rises, 40 stories high buildings. But there is this small, tucked away in a corner, small Baoli, which nobody just even knows about. Forget visiting. And the fourth one that we're visiting is the Baoli inside Firozshah Kotla Fort. Now, why we are visiting that one? Because it's a very unique architecture. The other 3 that we are going to be visiting are in a rectangular, squarish shape. But this one is a circular Baoli. And it's a very interesting architecture. The pillars, 3 layers, pillars all around, the steps going down, and then there's steps that you can go up to and climb on the walls and parapet and kind of walk around the Baoli. So it's a very interesting place to visit. So that's the whole logic of the 4, Baolis that we had chosen this time.
Yeah, that's quite fascinating. Thanks, Asif and Ramit, for talking to us.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye. The Heritage Walk will start at 7 a.m. from near Qutub Minar and will finish at 11:30 a.m. For more information, log on to www.delhibyfoot.in. How are you planning to beat the heat this summer? Let us know at feedback@livemint.com. Have a cool weekend.